Welcome to this afternoon's live commentary coverage of the NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Series Pennzoil 250 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and what we are now waning down as the final races of the regular season for the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Entering today in what has only been a regular season of 23 races. We have just 3 races to go, one of which here this afternoon. An off week next week across all the top 3 series before the grind of the final 2 races, and to see who will be the 12 drivers competing for a championship in this series. 2 drivers are locked in already, with Justin Allgaier dominating the series point standings, having also the most wins in the series this season with 6 entering today through 21 races. Jesse Love, still winless on the year, also locked into the chase on points, minus 240. Sheldon Creed minus 273 sits third in the standings as he looks to try to lock himself in. He is on the pole this afternoon. Corey Day, series rookie, 2 wins on the season, 4th in the standings. Rounding out the top 5, Carson Kvapil with Brandon Jones 6th in points, Austin Hill 7th, Sammy Smith in 8th, Parker Retzlaff 9th, and Sam Mayer rounding out the top 10. Brent Cruz at 11, Taylor Gray has the final spot on points entering today's race. He is 17 above the cut line, ahead of Raja Karut, who not in the 88 car today, but will finish out the 88 in the remaining regular season races. Chase Elliott will be piloting that car for JRM this afternoon. William Sawalich sitting 14th in points, entering the night. Ryan Sieg in 15th, and Anthony Alfredo 16th on the outside of the chase bubble looking in. So that is our live commentary coverage of the point standings coming into tonight's race on KRC. Bubba Wallace, guest commentator in the booth on the CW for the broadcast. We'll get to hear some of his thoughts throughout the course of today's action and much more. And the raw feed is up and running. It was down during the entirety of the qualifying stream earlier for the NASCAR Cup Series. Congratulations again to Carson Hocevar, qualifying on the pole a little over an hour ago for the Brickyard 400, as he'll lead the way to the green tomorrow afternoon. In fact, at All Spire Motorsports front rows, his teammate Daniel Suarez will be starting in second. And as far as today's starting lineup, here it goes. Sheldon Creed on the pole for this one. Haas has been very good in recent years at IMS, so not a shocker. Creed's on the front row. We'll see if he can get a win. Carson Kvapil will be starting in the second place position, also in the front row, still searching for career win number 1. In row 2 will be Sam Mayer and Jeremy Clements, impressive in qualifying earlier this morning. Row 3 for Taylor Gray and Brandon Jones, the Joe Gibbs Racing teammates. Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain, 2 of the Cup regulars in the field today, will start in row 4, both racing for Junior Motorsports. And in row 5 will be another JGR Toyota, another JRM Chevy of William Sawalich and Sammy Smith. In row 6 will be Corey Day and Jeb Burton. Row 7, Justin Allgaier, our points leader, and Ryan Sieg. Brent Cruz with Raja Karut in row number 8. Row 9 for Parker Retzlaff, who's still top 10 in points, and rookie Patrick Staropoli. And row number 10 will be Austin Hill and Anthony Alfredo. Row 11 for Mason Maggio and Kyle Sieg. Nick Sanchez, Harrison Burton in row number 12. Row 13, Dean Thompson and Jesse Love. Blaine Perkins, Brennan Poole, row 14. Row 15 will be Reston Pardis and Garrett Smithley. LeVar Scott, Josh Balicki, row 16. Row 17, Ryan Ellis and J.J. Yaley. Row 18, Joey Gase and Nathan Bird, and rounding out the field in row 19 will be Blake Lothian and David Starr. And that's your full starting lineup for a 38-car full field for today's O'Reilly race. Our stage splits will be 30 laps in each of the first 2 stages. Final stage consisting of 40 laps, which will be pretty close to the fuel window around this 2.5-mile Brickyard racetrack. 2.5-mile flat oval, about 9 to 11 degrees of banking in the corners. 100 laps are scheduled distance, making up 250 miles. I'll get a chat poll going. So you can vote for who you think is going to win today's race. For some late-breaking updates, I'll let you listen into the CW booth as cars are on the racetrack.
Like happened earlier today, let's get to the starting grid. Sheldon Creed leading us to the green. What do you see there, Bubba?
Jeremy Clements, the number 51, starts 4th today. That's the best qualifying in his career. 500 hits.
It's a crazy stat. I'm going to go back and look at Justin Allgaier. He's my pick for the race today. Going to roll off 13th. 6 wins this season. He's already locked in as number 1 seed, the chase. And he's the only past Indy win in the field. Hey, if I had bet on qualifying, I would have bet the under. I would have said Allgaier would have qualified better than 13th. I would have said the same, no doubt. about Jesse Love, our reigning champ, row 13. They had an issue with the car after a few sprinkles during the qualifying session. He goes out not happy with the speed, anxious to see what that team does once we go green today. Let's go back and talk a little bit about J.J. Aley. He's going to start 34th. Listen to this, guys. 28 years ago, finished 9th in the Indy 500 at this track. We showed it earlier. Had a spin early in the race, came back for a top 10 finish. Ready to hear more? Scan the QR code to take a short free online hearing test. Now let's listen in to Starkey Radio Communications, Team 7 and Justin Allgaier. Rick, please never fail, man. I'm so proud of this big part. All they have to do is 3 weeks, we'll get 3 wins for the playoff start. We got the team in the car to do it, so let's go out on the clock. Well, I talked to Justin a little bit in our pre-race, and he's hoping that the sun comes out and it gets slick. They feel like they built their car for handling. That's why he's a little bit back in qualifying, but I think they're going to be just fine, regardless of what the conditions do here. I just think the 7 car is going to find its way to this place. Is weather sensitive, and the weather this weekend has been a bit of a moving target. Let's hear from our pit reporters before we turn them loose today. We start with Kim Kuhn. Good afternoon. What's going on, Kim?
Good afternoon, AAUC. Chase Elliott in the 88 car dropping to the rear. That's because they had a right rear tire rub during qualifying, ended up changing their tire. That's why he will start from the rear. The team was a little surprised at qualifying, felt like they deserved and had a car that should have been on the front row, but that tire rub inhibiting him from getting that done. But he's making his second and final start of the season in this series. I asked crew chief Marty Lindley what it's like on the weeks he's got a Cup Series driver in his car, and he told me it's a huge advantage. He said their knowledge, their confidence, and what they can add to the team's notebook. Dylan?
And we'll go from the back of the field to the very front. Sheldon Creed, the pole sitter, still has plenty to fight for with 3 races left before the chase. The battle for third in points is as intense as the race for the bubble, and there's always that incentive to start the postseason as high as you can. Sheldon won his first pole of the year this afternoon, and as good as Haas Factory team was here a year ago, they've got everybody right where they wanted to start the day, and for them to have a good points day, and that's out the rearview mirror.
Yeah, you want to finish the regular season strong, and you think about the campaign for a guy, like Sheldon Creed, what he's been able to do. It'd be fun to watch them go get it done today. So, Creed to his right.
Overcast skies this afternoon at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a cooler racetrack for a July summer day. Going to create for a lot of speeds down these fast and long straightaways at Indianapolis. Sheldon Creed on the inside of row 1 will take us to the green, and we're underway at the Brickyard in the Pennzoil 250 for the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Rushing their way into the first turn side by side, most of the field 2x2 as things kind of treacherous off the start here at Indy. Every restart with being double file through those first 2 turns on a primarily single groove racetrack. Tough to hold on to that outside lane. We're going to see the restarts, of course, get more and more aggressive throughout the course of the day. Lane changing at the front of the field. Sam Mayer, the 41, jumps up into second, and Haas now 1-2 out in front of the pack. Carson Kvapil, who started second, finally able to get to the inside. It looked like he was going to, right in front of Brandon Jones, but Jones just getting his nose down to the bottom. And despite being on the outside of row number 1, Carson Kvapil fading here in the early laps, and he'll still be side by side with Brandon Jones down the long front straightaway. With Taylor Gray in the 54 behind the 20, I would assume he's going to go with his teammate. No, he does not. He actually bump drafts the car on the outside of Kvapil, but Kvapil still can't quite get clear of Jones down into turn 1. Opening lap led by Sheldon Creed, our pole sitter. 3-car breakaway at the front of the pack, and that side-by-side battle for 4th, where Kvapil's still holding on strong on the top for right now, is allowing for a big bunch up in the pack from 4th on back. Now Gray will go with his teammate, Brandon Jones, trying to push him down the back straightaway. Jones is cleared for 4th. And Gray will be side by side with Kvapil as Carson just needs to get single file here at some point to keep from losing any more positions. Finally able to get to the bottom and to sacrifice another spot with Taylor Gray, but his teammate Sammy Smith let him in. Chastain keeping the 18 of William Sawalich pinned down to the bottom. A tight move there by Sawalich. Did a great job holding a steady wheel. Creed setting the fastest lap of the race early on with that clean air advantage out at the front, 54.143 at the end of lap 2. With 75 points being the most that you can outscore one driver under the current NASCAR points format, coming into the day, Justin Allgaier would have had to have a 225-point lead over second to clinch the regular season title. He is 240 points ahead of Jesse Love, who's second in points. So I mentioned already that both Love and Allgaier are locked into the chase on points. Well, Justin Allgaier also clinched the regular season championship last week as well. So Allgaier has really nothing to fight for these last couple weeks. He will be the #1 seed for the chase. Simply racing for wins these next couple of weeks as he continues to build up the accolades in this series. And trying to maybe break into the top 5 all-time on the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series wins list. He is a former winner at Indianapolis in this series, so we'll see if he can get it done again this afternoon. Working lap number 4. Top 5 in the running order. Sheldon Creed leads with Sam Mayer second. Jeremy Clements all alone in third. Brandon Jones fourth. And Taylor Gray in fifth. 6th place for Carson Kvapil, Sammy Smith 7th, Ross Chastain 8th, William Sawalich 9th, and Justin Allgaier, as mentioned moments ago, is in 10th. 3 wide to the bottom, Raja Karuth in the 32 is the first driver below the chase cut line. Trying to find some way to break up into the top 10. Made one pass on the back straightaway. Pushes tight, though, trying to go for more on the 17 of Corey Day. Was not able to hold that kind of speed into the third turn, Settles back in line and will look to try to get the momentum going. Well, he didn't get through turn 3 well. He did get out of turn 4 to get that speed back, and he can utilize the draft behind Corey Day to try to continue on with it. Based off the start of this race, as they run for points, he is 13 below the cut line. Last driver who was in on points entering the day, Taylor Gray, up in 5th, a better qualifying effort for Gray. And if he keeps the car clean, he's going to be very tough to beat these last 3 races of the regular season. He'll be working lap number 6 of 100 this time by at Indy. Tomorrow's 400-mile race will be 160 laps.
So you're saying the Junior Motorsports is not 1 through 6 right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
They missed it. They must have missed it.
Give it some time. 6 to 8 on the board right now. And Allgaier on the move.
They'll be just fine. But go back to the 51. It is Jeremy's been around for a long time. Obviously, we said 550 stars. One of the nicest guys in the garage. So to see success come his way, whether it's his first start or his 550 start, like it's good to see just for the whole garage in general.
Powerball power movers plus 11 now from Chase Elliott from the back. Kim told us about the tire issue. Had to drop to the rear, but he's moving forward. Yeah, the fact that he was able to survive those first couple of laps, having to go to the back, we've seen. That was one of the things, as we talked to the drivers down on pit road before the race, they were concerned with having a wreck early on to get caught up in that. But this is good for Chase. He'd like to re-rack him right now, though, and kind of close up that gap. A little bit easier to get him on the restarts, but it looks to me like that car is moving along nicely. You mentioned it, up 11 spots already. Look at that snake. I mean, they just get in line and try to find a little drafting help before you make your move.
We go through so much data and whatnot, so to come off the wall a little bit reduces the drag that you put on yourself from the wall in the car. So that's why you see that snaking effect, and everybody just follows suit.
Saw the 9 pop through the screen. Ross Chastain making his final start of the year, one earlier in the campaign, driving for Junior Motorsports at Charlotte. Little slow to start for the 9 of Ross Chastain, but the last time I ran the fastest lap of anybody on the track. So probably getting a little bit of a benefit of these guys in front of him, getting some of the draft, the low power that the O'Reilly cars have at this track. But mentioned he was fastest in practice, so just working on the balance of that car. It didn't seem to me that it took off the way that he needed it to, but right now, fastest car on the track.
Well, we talk about this kind of really every race. The first run of the race, really anywhere you go, is the worst that your car is going to drive. Nope. If you qualified and it felt great earlier, the qualifying to race balance is way different. But then just the track sitting there for an hour or two, heat soaking, you're over on the radio lap 3. I need this, I need that.
What'd you change? Right?
It's like, why is driving so bad?
Yeah, the track's about 10 degrees hotter than what we had in qualifying earlier today, guys, so that's going to take a lot of grip away as well. What's going on, Dylan?
Well, just speaking about Ross in the 9 car, it's worth noting he's never run this specific package here. So you guys talk about that so far today. Ross has made 4 starts here, but never in this type of racing package. So he was learning in practice, learned pretty quick as he was fastest, but spoke with Philip Bell, the crew chief, and he said, we're just going to let Ross do what he does best today, and that's be aggressive. You're going to have to be, as you guys have talked about. So just trying to make his way forward here. He's in the 7th spot after starting gate.
There you go. Allgaier going by 2 of them right here. You saw him get side by side, 3 wide. Everybody settles in. He got a break.
I'm interested in that because 2 cars side by side, he pulled down and didn't get the 2 for 1 like we talked about. So maybe he had to check up on exit as well and didn't have the bigger rush with that.
9 laps in Indianapolis for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and this move was key for Sheldon Creed to get ahead of the curve and take the lead. He's leading laps at this place for the first time in his career. 00 stout the early going from the pole on CW.
With a track tough to pass here, I'm not saying it's game over by any means, only on lap 9 of 100, but it is going to be tough to beat the 00 as long as they do not kick themselves by making any blunders on pit road. It's a lot easier, I think, to stay ahead of strategy in the O'Reilly race just because they won't have to pit for fuel purposes at all at stage 1 or stage 2. Only question is now, because it is a big enough oval, do you split the stages by sacrificing points to try to get track position on the back side of that? You're going to have to be in the front couple positions to be able to pull that off with a 4-tire stop and not go a lap down. Again, we'll see if they can stay on top of strategy, but having the lead is going to be the best opportunity to be able to do that. Already seen about a 7/10 of a second fall off in the first 10 laps of this race from the fastest lap on lap 3, which was a 54.116 for Creed, and that last lap a 54.868, with him pulling away from Mayer a little bit, maybe not able to get as much of a push down the straightaway. Sam Mayer is a 1.5 back in that second place position. Jeremy Clements 1.9 seconds off the lead in 3rd. Brandon Jones 3.8 back in 4th. Carson Quapple rounding out the top 5 in 5th at 4 seconds out of the lead. Sammy Smith 4.4 seconds back in 6th. Ross Chastain 4.7 back in 7th. William Sawalich 5.6 seconds off the lead in 8th. Justin Allgaier 5.7 back in 9th. And Taylor Gray 6.9 seconds off of the lead, rounding out the top 10. Shout out to those of you tuning into the stream right now. We got Pete Creamer, JoJo, Terry Lewis, Mark Guest, Steve J, Bond1771, and others. Thanks for watching here on this middle Saturday afternoon. Brickyard 400 weekend right here on KRC. Our full flag-to-flag coverage continues, side-by-side commercial break coverage on CW. We'll take our first break. You're listening live again. Our coverage continues. Got a Denny Hamlin commercial going on right now where he's talking to his car. He was actually just talking about that Progressive commercial when he was in the broadcast booth for the last O'Reilly race. Maybe execs at CW were like, oh, we'll make sure we play that next time. A lot of speed out of that 51 car for Jeremy Clements. He stayed with Sam Mayer in the draft, despite the fact that the 41 has not been able to keep pace with his teammate in front of him. Creed has outpaced Sam Mayer for most of the year. If you just look at the point standings alone, with Mayer 10th in points and Creed sitting 3rd. Under 20 laps left for Creed. Actually, more laps left for Mayer with 165. But the consistency with those 60 DNFs for Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, only 2. 3 more top 10s for Creed and 3 more top 5s as well. 1 win to none. None for Mayer, 1 for Creed. So he's besting them in all those major statistical categories, minus laps led. But it doesn't matter how many you lead if you don't lead the most important one, which, again, Creed has done once. Getting that first career win in the second race of the season back at Atlanta in February. Almost halfway through stage 1 already. Brandon Jones under duress from Sammy Smith. 3 wide in the short chute between 3 and 4. Ross Chastain with a bonsai move and will get both the 20 in the 8 car through turn 4.
Taylor get in the game for tonight's estimated ball jackpot of $600 million. Sheldon Creed continues to lead in Indianapolis out front of his teammate Sam Mayer. Clements, Quaffle, Chastain, the top five. Good racing behind him. Brandon Jones, there was Sammy Smith, Allgaier, William Sawalich hanging in as well. Guys, I can't help but notice, and Justin Allgaier brought this up earlier. 7 of the top 9 Hendrick engines. I know we referenced it last week at Atlanta, or last time we raced at Atlanta. Just the dominance that those guys have had, and it's the talk throughout the garage that's a distinct advantage that they have over everybody. It made a big improvement this year on it, and this is one of those tracks. Horsepower is king here. It's made a big difference, and it's showing again today. It's really interesting. I mean, Creed pulls away. Then you got Mayer right there with Clements. Then another little pond there with Quaffle and Chastain. And then this.
The discrepancy is interesting. Like you mentioned, Griffin cars, big brake, big brake. So I think a lot of people are surprised at what they have as a balance for the race car. But you do start to see the JRM cars start to move together. Move forward together.
100%. I was going to say a little bit earlier, Sawalich went to get underneath somebody, and Allgaier had a choice. He could have made it the 2-for-1 or went with William, and he chose to go with Sammy Smith. Then they caught the next car. He went with Sammy Smith, almost like a Daytona Talladega type. Just commit to your teammate in front of you, and it's helped both of those guys leapfrog forward.
Another thing to look at is maybe Allgaier feels that if he takes the lead and you go through a big balance shift from being the second place car to the first place car, maybe he needs that car in front of him to keep his balance neutral into the tight side so he can keep cars control.
So oddly enough, I talked to these guys yesterday after practice. They get looser in traffic than they do by themselves. Cars tighter by themselves, which is so strange. But talked to 2 or 3 different teams, and they all said the same thing, that they were actually freer being behind someone. Now look at Clements. I mean, he's able to jump around Mayer here, get up to second. That team, you know, they started the year, and I referenced the alliance with Haas Factory, and they weren't as good as I thought they would be, or as good as they expected to be. But once they got their arms around everything they were dealing with, the last couple of months, he's been very consistent, spends a lot of time inside the top 10. I mean, you see, he's not bearing a lot of fruit when you talk about races here at Indianapolis on the oval. But today they come to play in both qualifying and now in the race. You know, well, one thing that we always talk about, I heard somebody say earlier, qualifying is everything at this racetrack. And he qualified, had his best qualifying effort ever, and now he's able to capitalize on it by, qualifying up front. Has a good car also in a race. It's just about executing the entire day for that 51 team.
On the contrary to that, the 41 of Mayer, his lap time came back there with the previous lap. Maybe it was just from him letting Clements by, but he was half a second slower than your leaders.
Yeah, nice rebound, though. You said that. Like, he actually one of the faster laps on the track that last time by, so good rebound. Well, this has been a good track for Mayer. And we take a weekend, 2 weeks, we go to Iowa, where he's been so successful. Also wanted to update. I had said this would be the final start for Ross Chastain in the 9. He actually will run the 9 car. That will be his final start of the year at Iowa. So it'll be good to have him back in the mix with Junior Motorsports putting 5 cars on track there. Take a look here at Jeremy Clements. You see getting to the inside of Sam Mayer on the bottom of your screen. It's like Sam didn't race him too hard into the corner. Gonna let him go early in the race. I think that'll be different later on.
That's so nice. When you get the run and it's obvious, and they're just like, they give you the wave by. If it's SVG, he gives you the finger, but he's giving you the motion by.
What's going on with Jesse Love, Kim?
Yeah, let's check in with the 2 car after they started 26 up to the 18th position. Didn't have the speed in qualifying. The team was very concerned, but they did admit they don't have the speed at these type places. They feel like everyone has caught up or moved forward speed-wise, and they have not taken that step forward. But how is the car right now? Take a listen to the Starkey in-car radio from the 2 car.
My balance air tight on it. Free air, my balance is.
I wanted you guys to hear that in-car because that goes back exactly to what Jamie was mentioning. Cars better in traffic. We saw this last year, too. A number of the actual JRM cars were complaining about the same thing. In clean air, the car's balance is not good. In Dirty Air was a little bit better. That's what we're hearing from RCR and Jesse Love right now.
Jamie, I give up.
Yeah,
I give up. I don't know why. I cannot relate to that because all we want is clean air. As soon as a car gets in front of us, we have a total different balance. Inputs are way different. And then we start complaining about things that are almost superficial because how much is it from that dirty air? Is that your balance? Let's talk when we get back to clean air. They are the exact opposite. I'm out.
Yeah, it is. It's right on board with Parker Retzloff and the car gorilla on board. You see that guy going by him right there, Chase Elliott?
On the move.
Oh yeah, Clyde is moving on up all the way to 19th now. Balance in the 88 car is on point. I talked to Marty Lindley in the garage today. He said, I hope later this afternoon we hear that siren. He's cut the field in half. Good rally from the back for Chase Elliott. Sheldon Creed leading this thing. We're at the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You absolutely cannot beat race day here.
Take a gander at the full field running orders. We have about 10 laps to go in stage one. Sheldon Creed, the race leader, with Jeremy Clements in second, Sam Mayer third, Carson Kvapil fourth, and Ross Chastain rounding out the top five in fifth. Sixth place is Sammy Smith with Justin Allgaier seventh, William Sawalich eighth, Taylor Gray ninth, and Corey Day in 10th. 11th is Brandon Jones, Brett Cruz in 12th, Raja Krug 13th, Ryan Sieg 14th, and Jeb Burton 15th. 16th for Austin Hill, Anthony Alfredo 17th, Chase Elliott 18th, Jesse Love 19th, and Parker Retzlaff in 20th. 21st, Dean Thompson, Nick Sanchez 22nd, Harrison Burton 23rd, Kyle Sieg 24th, and Patrick Starr-Poley 25th. Blaine Perkins 26th, Garrett Smithley 27th, Preston Partis 28th, Mason Maggio 29th, and 30th is Brennan Poole. LeVar Scott 31st, Josh Bilicki 32nd, Ryan Ellis 33rd, Joey Gase 34th, and J.J. Yaley 35th. 36th is Nathan Berg with Blake Lothian 37th, and one car off the lead lap, David Starr in 38th, one lap down. So lap traffic starting to be had for our race leader. The lead has diminished quite a bit, and Jeremy Clements, who is in second now, within a couple tenths of a second of our leader, Sheldon Creed, who has struggled just a bit since catching lap traffic, and he is now in danger of not only losing the lead to second place, but Sam Mayer, Carson Kvapil, Ross Chastain, they've all kind of drafted behind Clements after Clements took second from Mayer, and they're all within a second of the race leader as well, drafting under one giant blanket. Things could get very interesting here before long, and the guy who's led every lap of this race so far, Sheldon Creed, doesn't seem to be pacing quite as well as other cars behind him on the longer green flag run. Shocked at how much fall off we've seen. Usually don't see this much at Indy, but about 2 seconds of fall off in just over 20 laps of this race. And I'm curious to see if we have the same thing tomorrow in the NASCAR Cup Series race. Which that race in particular, we definitely haven't seen a lot of tire fall off in Indy, which is why you see a lot of pit strategy, but we might have pit strategy for different reasons than just fuel. Which is going to be interesting to watch, knowing that that's pretty abnormal at this racetrack. Austin Sullivan, thanks for tuning in as well. AJF, welcome to the stream. Down to about 7 laps to go this time by in stage number 1. Robert Goodrich, also thanks for tuning in. Back straightaway, Sheldon Creed trying to break the draft from Jeremy Clements, who's right behind him. We'll see if Clements will pull out and make a move into turn 3. He does not. A little bit of a bigger gap starting to brew between the 3rd and 4th place cars of Mayer and Kvapil. All Chevrolets up there in the top 5. Justin Allgaier up 7 positions from his 13th place starting position to 6th. A couple seconds behind this group. He's trailing several other cars that are behind him in a draft. Things are going to get very testy here to the end of stage 1. Clements has pulled out a line a couple times on the straightaway trying to make a move on Sheldon Creed. He's getting kind of desperate with trying to break that line down the straightaways to hold on to this race lead. Clements will slip to the inside up out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Not a lot of help from Sam Mayer, but he didn't need it. Just got up out of turn 2 way better than Creed. Creed had to lift. He might have gotten a bit aero loose with the 51 on his rear spoiler. And how about this? Jeremy Clements leading at Indianapolis. Sam Mayer slipped into second. Creed didn't get back in line until he was in third. Scratch that fourth place. Ross Chastain's actually up to third. 3 positions lost and 1 straightaway for Sheldon Creed. Showing a replay from several laps ago. He was trying to make a pass on J.J. Yaley. Held up behind him for so long and allowed for a lot of that traffic to maybe catch up, and Creed's car maybe slipping away from him just a bit as well. And Jeremy Clements pulling away from Mayer just as he was when he was in second before he caught the leader. That 51 car is very strong today. Unbelievable performance. Clements does have 2 career wins in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at Mid-Ohio and a Summer Daytona race a few years ago. In his 550 career starts in the series, most all time. So he isn't a stranger necessarily to victory lane, but his wins are definitely few and far between of those 550 starts. He has led just 2 laps all season, came in 19th in points. Well out of a shot of really making the chase, not mathematically out of it, but being below the cut line by about 180 points coming in. He's going to have to break off a massive run. He might have to win out. But you know what? He's got speed today. Take it 1 week at a time, and we'll see what he can do. But he is looking like one of, if not the fastest car on the racetrack right now. There's several others that, like Justin Allgaier and Chase Elliott, they've made their way through quite a few cars already by way of how many they've passed on track. But Jeremy Clements, everybody. That Mid-Ohio race he won, by the way, was in the rain. So he has a rain race win at Mid-Ohio, and then the Daytona win was one of those war of attrition O'Reilly races at Daytona. A lot of big ones. Very few cars finished on the lead lap that day. This, if he wins today, would by far be the most impressive win on his resume.
Every one of these points is huge for him, so get as many as you can. And he's one of those guys, we talk about him every week. He has a lot of speed. Look at the handling on this car. So pull the exact same move. That's what we showed you in the high race animation. Today, to get just to the inside there, get the momentum, and now Allgaier is most likely going to pull him through. You know, they told Swalich on the radio, so struggling. Look at the push from Allgaier. The team's on
You know, what potentially that car can be struggling with. So if the 0-0 is battling loose, you know what us race programs
absolutely
do. All the air on your left rear to make that even worse to you by it.
Now look at Sammy Smith trying to gain a position. Taylor Gray getting after it. And we all know the rivalry that existed the last couple of years between the 54 and the 8. I tell you what, I love the racing today, though. It kind of spread out, and now it's all starting to get back together. I don't think we can give enough love to our leader, though. We kind of lost sight that Spartanburg's finest Jimmy Clements is in the front.
Now, baby.
Coming into today, he had led 2 laps in the last 40 races. Today, he's led 4.
Wow.
Probably going to put at least 7 together and win the stage. Just a great start to this race. Driver 51. That's got to feel so good for him to be out front at this racetrack, be the leader. See, he's going to catch some lap traffic right here, but it just seems to me like the 51 car had good handling in qualifying. Now it's got a really good handling car in the race.
Yeah, what this does for the 51, you know, we talk about the success that they're having right now. We hope that lasts all throughout the day so we can have a good story to talk about. But the other side of it is look at the TV time he's getting for his car.
Absolutely.
Like, they make these opportunities happen, you know, very last minute, and some of these teams do. And like we mentioned, Clements has been around for a while with what was that, Sky Fund?
Sky Funds.
They're getting Sky Fund Aviation. They're getting some love there. So that's really important as a whole to get them a good run, and it's got to make him smile inside the race car.
You see Sheldon Creed to the right of our screen there is continuing to fade back all the way back to 7th now. They're going to cloth on Taylor Gray. Awful great in practice yesterday. He's up to 3rd. And the other make here, getting late in the run on these tires. So you fast forward to long runs, especially in that final stage. And is this a preview maybe of who are going to be the cars you deal with late in the run when we're ready to get that checkered flag later in the race. Well, Bubba, we talk about junior motorsports. 2 of the top 3 now. Jeremy Clements is out in front. He just pointed out, though, as we ride on board with William Sawalich, you can see the power of that 41 car in front of it.
Yeah, I really like the handling of this 18 car.
The water heater is what we like. It's a 41 car.
Yes. Like this is going to be a big run here.
Look at how much exit speed he has.
He's just got a little bit of grip left in the tank, and he's able to carve just a little bit better, get his nose pointed the right direction, and make the runs.
And if William could get that car just a little bit better on the short run and get into just a little bit better position, you see right here as we come to the end of this first stage, he's one of the best cars on the track. Career start 5:52 for Jeremy Clements. And here he is for the green and white checkered flag, 41 from Spartanburg, South Carolina. He wins the opening stage in Indianapolis.
Let's go.
Second career stage win. The other coming at Bristol a couple of years ago. He's won at Daytona. He's on the road. Winning stages, providing analysis. Appreciate it, Jeremy. Most likable guy in the garage. I'd say one of them, right? Top 5 for sure. Just a good dude. And some hard work getting off today. Clements out front of the Brickyard.
Awesome job by Jeremy Clements, stage 1 winner. Best qualifying effort of his career in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 552 starts this weekend as he ended up the day beginning in 4th and stage 1 winner. On a tough, difficult racetrack to make any passes, he had the better car late in the run and he bypassed up at the front of the field Sheldon Creed for the lead, getting the final 7 laps led of the stage. Now we just got to see if his pit crew can hold up their end, and he's going to be tough to beat. We get into late race restart situations, that can be tough for a guy who's not all too familiar with the front of the field as well, especially when you got the likes of like a Ross Chastain up there. We know how aggressive of a driver he is. Restarts really one of the better ones in any of the series. When it comes to being a good restarter, that's going to be maybe the toughest task for Jeremy Clements this afternoon. And it could be head-to-head on the front row for the next restart. Yeah, not too many cars ended up a lap down with a 30-lap stage on a racetrack 2.5 miles in length. Nathan Berg, Blake Lothian, J.J. Yaley, David Starr, the only cars to finish a lap down. So Nathan Berg will get the free pass in 35th to get back on the lead lap. With Jeremy Clements winning stage 1, Ross Chastain was 2nd, Carson Kvapil 3rd, William Sawalich 4th, and Sam Mayer rounding out the top 5 and 5th. 6th for Justin Allgaier, Sheldon Creed 7th, Taylor Gray 8th, Brett Cruz 9th, and Sammy Smith rounding out the top 10. You have until the end of stage 2 to vote for who you think is going to win today's NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. Your voting options are between our pole sitter Sheldon Creed, Chase Elliott, and Ross Chastain. 12% of you taking Sheldon Creed for the win, 29% taking Chase Elliott. Ross Chastain only 4% after getting 2nd at the end of the stage, and 54% of you taking somebody other than those 3. Jeremy Clements falling under the other. Well, who seriously could have thought he would have as much speed as he has had so far in stage 1? A lot of fun to see here. First pit stops of the day coming up shortly. It's that one lead change after Sheldon Creed was able to lead the first 23 laps out of 30 in stage 1 before Clements led the end to the stage. Now we got to see who's going to win the race off pit road.
Once through Dallas. One last chance to clinch your spot or go home. The Progressive AVP League, Saturday, August 8th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on the CW.
NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's heroes. Progressive Insurance. Get in the savings lane today. Visit progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. The Wheeling caution lights are on. The same Wheeling emergency lights and sirens you see on the safety vehicles here at the track are protecting first responders and communities all across America. I like the dueling checkered flag shirts.
I hope they're at the start-finish line.
There we go.
She went for the tighter pattern. He went for the bigger pattern.
Just wait till they reach for their phones and their friends are texting them. You know, they're talking about you on TV. Let's go back to, Chase Elliott starts in the back after they had the tire issue. And he ends the stage in 14th. And he was getting after it on that drive to the front. This is lap 3. It's turn 3. Look at that.
Ooh, got run down just a little bit, trying to get by some of those guys. He's lucky with the splitter, not destroying that car, but it looks like he just caught the very edge of that. Like there's any damage to it.
If they execute on pit road here, get them off 11th or 12th. I mean, you think about without the benefit of a caution in stage 1 to go from the back to 14th, and if you can get a little help on pit road, that would be huge for them as we get ready for this second run of the day.
Yeah, and you mentioned pit road. This is a tough pit road from the teams, the speed that you run down it with because of the width of it. The stalls are incredibly long, but they're not very wide. So it is a very challenging pit road, and I feel like every race we come here, we see an issue.
One of the most treacherous pit roads that we have on the circuit.
Stalls are really slick as well, like trying to get stopped in your stall, they're slick, and then also trying to accelerate out. Even though you see all that rubber, I think a lot of that's from the Indy 500, which was here, months ago. But, man, I noticed even doing the pace car ride yesterday, trying to accelerate out of that, it's extremely slick.
Got to execute here, and I think about those drivers that needed stage points coming in around the bubble. Gray was able to deliver in that category, so was Cruz and Sawallick, who we ride with here. Progressive pit road is open. Dylan Welsh, you're up.
And Jeremy Clements will work his way down to about the middle of pit road here and lean on his team to get him out as close to the front as he came in here. He reported that he got just a little bit free at the end of that run. He asked for a little bit more tug in the wheel, which I think just means try to snug him up a little bit. Middle screen, Ross Chastain said he fired off 3 numbers, 3 free, built to 3 numbers tight. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment just to try to keep him a little bit freer on the long run, Kim.
You see Carson Quaffle, bottom of your screen. He said tight all around, worse in traffic, specifically center exit. He said entry's fine, but I wouldn't want to be any freer. Carson said, don't make a little change, but don't make a big change. I'd call that a Goldilocks, but they'll take half a pound out of both front tires and a piece of tape on the one car.
Stop shows 18 seconds for Jeremy Clements. Well, this is such a tight pit road from the exit from the line on the outside of the pit lane all the way to the wall. It is tight. Ross Chastain comes off +1. William Sawallick gains a couple. Clements fell 7 positions. Let's go back and watch the exit here. Look at, so tight right there.
A lot of give and take right there.
Gray, Cruz. We get the restart for stage 2 next.
Yeah, very tight pit road at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Definitely purpose-built for open-wheel racing, which, of course, we see every year with the Indianapolis 500. And this is, with being the most narrow pit road on the circuit, also one of the more dangerous ones, especially with how fast it is because of the 2.5-mile track length as well. We've seen accidents on pit road before, some dangerous situations at this Indianapolis Motor Speedway pit road, especially when you're early in the race and you get a caution like this and pretty much the entire field is on the lead lap side of things. Everybody's coming down at once. Creates an ultra dangerous situation for these teams that are going up over the wall. Tough break for Jeremy Clements, losing the lead on pit road with an 18-second stop. Unfortunately, pit crew not really bailing Clements out there. Part of the deficit of being of the smaller teams in the series, you're not going to have one of the better pit crews. And just another thing kind of stacking the odds against them when they have a good run like they did today, leading laps and winning stage 1. And he's got a fast race car. Now he just has to stay out of trouble in the pack on the restart. We'll see if he can get back up there. and also staying ahead of the racetrack with all these teams having their first pit stops of the day. What kind of adjustments were made to try to best the others? Yeah, I've been at Indianapolis 3 times. I was there for the 2018 Brickyard 400 weekend. I was only going to be there for the Brickyard 400, and both Saturday and Sunday was a complete wash. So they ran the O'Reilly race at like 10 a.m. on Monday morning. I went to that, and then the Brickyard 400 was Monday afternoon. So I got to watch 2 races in the same day on a Monday before I came back home. Luckily, I only lived 4 hours from Indianapolis, so I was able to actually do that while being scheduled off of work on that Monday and still get back to work on Tuesday as scheduled. I got back late Tuesday. It wasn't a lot of sleep, but I was able to pull it off still. So that way I didn't have to come home early. So I was there that weekend, and then I was there in 2021 for all of the weekend activities. IndyCar and NASCAR did a doubleheader. I believe it was the first doubleheader that they have done that I can think of. Which was IndyCar and O'Reilly on Saturday on the road course, on the Cup race, of course, first one on the road course in 2021. So I was there for that. Got to see an AJ Allmendinger win in person. He's only got a few of those in his Cup career, so it was a little interesting. My guy Blaney finishing second that day, and they actually raced at Michigan the following week, my home track, so I got to see back-to-back races, and one spot better for my guy Ryan Blaney that next week as he went on to win at Michigan. First of 2 times I got to see him win in person. Then the last time I was at Indy was the Indy 500 back in 2022. I would definitely love to get back to the track. All 3 times I went there, I did go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame in the infield. I highly recommend, if you are there, definitely get a ticket to the Hall of Fame. Get there a little early so you give yourself an extra amount of time to be able to do that. It's well worth it. If you're just a motorsports fan in general, you're going to enjoy it in there. A lot of old classic cars, race cars, a lot of history in the museum at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a track that is built on history, of course, over 100 years running with the Indianapolis 500. And I also recommend trying the pork tenderloins while you're in the infield for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame. Get the pork tenderloin sandwiches from the infield concession stand specifically. They're awesome. Honestly, it's up there with of my favorite foods I've ever tried at a racetrack. Probably my favorite tasting food I've had at any kind of a NASCAR or racetrack before. Pork tenderloins at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And if you're there early enough in the morning, too, for the Hall of Fame, they do sell breakfast in the infield and then change over to lunch the closer you get to the start of the race. So cool stuff there. Yeah, it's up there on the list for sure. Martinsville hot dogs are tough to beat because they're $2 a dog. That's tough to beat, especially at a sporting venue. But man, tenderloins are good.
Gets out there and just makes some laps for the fun of it. This was a couple of years ago, taking the checkered flag here during a rain delay the month of May. But the truck is equipped to dispense oil dry and also has the capabilities to assist the IMS track sweepers with cleanup with the broom and blower that are set up at the back of the truck you see there. So Clifford's at home here. He's worked at tracks all over the world, even in Japan, helped the IndyCar safety crews a number of years ago, and he's just one of many traditions and familiar faces here every time we come back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that we look forward to seeing.
First new vehicle I ever bought looked just like that.
Really, Dylan has a little bit of a bromance with I can tell there. It's got some history here for Dylan. He talked about that a little bit earlier in our show.
Well, thanks to clean up there. Big penalty on pit road, uncontrolled tire, Taylor Gray.
It's going to be huge.
And good thing he got some stage points right. He comes from there in the same for Nick Sanchez. He'll drop to the rear here. They also had a penalty, and you look at where everybody is here. Plus 22 now for Sawalich, minus 22 for Gray. Raja didn't get stage points there, but finished just outside the top 10. So pretty good start to the afternoon for him. The Events DC onboard camera riding here. He was 13th at the end of the stage, 18th prior to the choose here as we go for stage 2.
Get a look here at Taylor Gray and the issues they had on pit road. Way up there at the top of your screen, you see the pit crew guy have to run out and grab that tire. Look how narrow that is. We talked about as these cars exit, though, there's just no room. And on top of that, it's a really fast pit road. Oh, it's so close with Brett Cruz having to react. And if you're the car that's pitted back towards turn 4, you want to naturally get to the far right so that you give yourself a little bit of room.
Wow.
Ow. My goodness. Jackman getting smoked by the right front fender on Ryan Ellis's car.
Tableau TV gave us a front row seat for that one. Here's O2 Radio.
I don't fix my car, so all good. Sorry.
It's always nice when you can make light, reset, and re-rack mirror. Another thing to clean up, Adam, you failed it was brought in by Hardee's, not the other restaurant that you mentioned.
Oh,
It's Hardee's. There you go.
Want to stay out of that one.
Yeah. Got a little more runway than we do on that. My future.
All right, Ross Chastain is going to be the leader on the restart after winning the race off pit road. William Sawalich scored second, Carson Kvapil third, Sheldon Creed fourth, Justin Allgaier fifth, and Sam Mayer at sixth. Green flag in the air as we're underway in stage 2. Sawalich had a pretty good car towards the end of stage number 1 on the longer green flag run. We'll see if he can stay up at the front of the pack on the outside of row number 1. Going to have the disadvantage being up there, but if he can get clear out of turn 2, which he's close to on Chastain, not quite. Chastain with a big side draft on the left-hand corner panel as they were working their way up out of turn 2. Drag racing back and forth, nearly making contact. And Sheldon Creed maybe trying to take away the top spot again. Will push the 18 car in the outer lane forward, and Sawalich is clear for the lead now into turn 3. Creed gets down to the bottom lane behind the 9 of Ross Chastain. Single file top 5 positions. 3 wide still further back in the pack through turns 3 and 4. Absolute mess in the middle of the pack here at Indy. A lot of lane changing going on both straightaways with all the traffic congested together. Justin Allgaier had the fastest lap of the race in this one back on lap 4 with a 53.935. I think that's the only calculated lap time of better than 54 seconds. So he's in 5th. We know he's got a quick car as well as he's had for most of the year with those 6 wins. One of those trying to chase their way through the field after starting a little bit further back in the pack. Jeremy Clements up to 7th after winning stage number 1. He had restarted in 8th, so he's already picked up 1 spot. Pretty good restart after a slow pit stop of 18+ seconds on pit road. Jesse Love trying to hold serve on the outside lane off turn 4 as he battles Corey Day in the middle of the pack. Tough day for RCR. In qualifying earlier, both Austin Hill and Love qualified in the back half of the field. Love a little bit worse off outside the top 20 is where he had to start. Austin Hill has at least broken into the top 10 for the first time today on this restart. After he began in 19, 26 for Love, and he's up to 13, so he's cut the field in half from where he began. And now we've got some tag teaming down the back straightaway. Sawalich on the high side, down to the bottom, getting pushed. Creed will shove the 9 car clear. And on the outside lane, trying to split by Sawalich 3 wide, was the 7 of Justin Allgaier, who now battles for 3rd with Carson Kvapil. Sawalich went from 1st to now side-by-side for 5th from the exit of turn 2 to the entrance of turn 3. Down that back straightaway, nobody wanted to work with him in the draft. And even down the front stretch, same thing going on with Sam Mayer, and he's got a little bit of drafting help behind him from Jeremy Clements. 2 Chevys versus a Toyota. Clements getting tight, though. The dirty air, you can tell he couldn't hold as much throttle as Sam Mayer pulls away from that battle. Clements a little bit more patient on the bottom of the racetrack and is not going to be able to hold the inside with the 18 holding him tight to the bottom. Clements had to lift in turn 2 again, breaking his momentum. Brandon Jones gets by, and maybe another car down the back straightaway going to get by Clements as well, and does. Which was Austin Hill in the 21, who had a 2-for-1 special, getting by not only Clements, but Brandon Jones as well, now for 8th place. 7th. Exactly for Austin Hill, so he is definitely on the move. Chastain leads 20 to go in the stage. Side-by-side commercial break on the CW. Top 5 in the running order with Ross Chastain in the lead. 1/10 of a second ahead of Sheldon Creed in 2nd the last time by at the start-finish line. 3/10 ahead of Justin Allgaier in 3rd. Carson Kvapil 7/10 back and 4th, and Sam Mayer 2.5 off the lead, rounding out the top 5 at 5th. 5 lead changes now at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we are through 40 completed laps out of 100. 5 caution laps so far in the race as well. We'll take a quick break. You're listening live on KRC to our full flag-to-flag coverage of the Pennzoil 250 at Indy. Team Tate, thanks for tuning in. If you can afford St. Elmo's downtown, it's at Indy 7 years, many days, weekends, and expense account. Never went to St. Elmo's. I've never heard of that. I'll keep that in my mind next time I go there. I'd definitely like to go back. I don't live far enough away from Indianapolis that I would think that I could have been there more times. Gotta take the advantage of it while I'm still living in Ohio. Been there 4 or 5 times, but it was IMSA and vintage road stuff. I will say one thing about like oval road course circuits, kind of rovals, if you will, you can see a lot more of the racetrack than what you could a traditional road course. Because it's all contained in an oval where you can pretty much see the whole track. Like that's one thing I loved about the Charlotte Roval when I was there, compared to other road courses I had been to both before and since, is that I could see the entire racetrack. I don't think there's any other road course that offers that ability to be able to see the entire racetrack quite like the Roval. So you couldn't miss any of the action. Obviously, sitting in high enough seats in the grandstands that would be the case. Or even like the Indianapolis Oval, you could see more of it, but because of the bigger structure on the front stretch, you couldn't really see around the infield grandstands as much. But like I was sitting in turn 1, so I could see the front stretch, them headed off in that right-hander in turn 1. And you could see the final like 4 or 5 turns of the track as well. So you can see a good chunk of it, but that's one thing I will miss about the Roval. At least with being there in person, is the viewing experience compared to other road courses is very, very good. A lot more scenery maybe at other tracks themselves, but from, just the pure race fan in me, I want to see as much racing as I possibly can, and that had a lot to offer for that. So Ross Chastain out in front. He has won one O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race this season. That was actually at Charlotte in a rain-shortened event back in the Memorial Day weekend. Fog/mist shortened race. And that was actually in the 9 car for Junior Motorsports as well. It's the second to last start for Chastain in the series. He will be back in that car at Iowa in the next race in 2 weeks. Oh, and one car scraping the wall up out of turn 4. Looked like it might have been the 99 of Parker Retzlaff. After Chase Elliott had just slid up in front of him off the exit of turn 4. You have to watch the right side of his race car, make sure that he doesn't have fenders pushed in enough that could cut a tire. Like he kind of just slightly stuck it and then couldn't get off of it. Almost like he was close to slipping to the outside of Elliott and then just ran out of room as Elliott was coming up the racetrack. It's tough to run that wider line, though, for a reason here at Indy. It's one groove racetrack for the most part, so running that wider line, you run the risk of that happening whether the car in front of you closes off or not. Chase closed off a bit, but at the same time, the 99 wasn't to the right rear quarter panel, so it wasn't like Elliott necessarily stuffed him in the wall. And we are past halfway now in stage 2. And the race entirely will be halfway in about another 4 laps. I don't see any smoke coming out of the right side of Retzlaff's race car to this point, so that's good. Should be able to hold on strong. Top 5 now. Ross Chastain in the lead. Sheldon Creed second. Justin Allgaier third. Carson Kvapil fourth. And Sam Mayer rounds out the top 5 in 5th.
Gets the back of the car lower, gets the spoiler out of there. It gets more straightaway speed, but what Parker said there was, I just feel like I'm out of control now, but I'm no faster. So that car stalled out, just kind of terminal velocity on the straightaway. They're trying to get some more speed, but it's really just taking handling away.
When you show up to a place, going back to just the mentality, when you show up to a place that's intimidating as the Brickyard can be, and you're not the biggest fan of it, that makes your weekends a lot longer. I struggle with tracks like that. Like Darlington was one of those places where I struggled with. I just wasn't a fan. And all of a sudden you get to the car, things click a little bit, and your results change. It's like, okay, you start to appreciate what each racetrack has to offer. They're all different.
Allgaier third right now could be a problem there.
Maybe over here.
Well, you'll hear the pitch of the engine change. Could be, maybe our team related. I mean, Justin's been around long enough and says that. Probably something going wrong, but as you look, he's not. Losing a lot of ground.
I'm Zero trying to back air on the 9 here.
Right there in the hip
Oh,
lock.
9, yes. Trying to get the run he needs. Move the 9 up the racetrack a little bit, but you look, Justin's pulled right back up to his governor. Looks fine to me.
That's right. When he dives to the inside, does a little 2 for 1, we'll understand just how stout that car is. They haven't really pulled away from Waffle either. And give some credit to Sam Mayer. I mean, had a little bit of a slide in the early stage for right there in 5th.
And the one thing for me, guys, as we watch this race, is there's no clear you're the best car at this point in the race. We saw Creed at the beginning be what we thought was the best car, and then at the end of that stage, I thought the 18 was the best on the longer run. I think that plays into his favor in this next stage because they're going to run a little bit longer. But now you see Chastain's out front, and he appears to be the best car. And I like that they're all stacked up. I think any of these guys you see on your screen right here are going to be a factor for the win later on.
What's up, Dylan?
I want to give you a Toyota driver update a little bit in the field, looking at Brent Cruz, who runs in the 8th spot right now. They had that practice crash yesterday. Didn't get a ton of laps on the racetrack. Qualified 15th, so spoke with Seth Chofka and knew they were going to have some work to do, but he emphasized how important it was early for them to make up some time and make up some track position. Brent felt like at stage 1 that the car was just a little bit too loose on him, but he was figuring it out still himself. And then once he started to figure out how to run this racetrack, the laps he's been clicking off have been some of the fastest of anybody in the field. And actually made a stage 1 and got a couple of stage points. So somebody who's on the bubble doing kind of what they need to do here.
As we ride on board with Brent Cruz right here, the Twitter Racing on board camera, I want you to watch not only the window net, you can see the air buffeting as he goes by a car, but also watch, I don't think it's going to be as bad. Watch that Toyota sticker on the roof bouncing up and down as well. There's so much movement, especially when you're in dirty air, and that's why when you hear guys talk about the balance of their car changing, that's one of those visuals that you can see. Look how much smoother that is right there. That Toyota sticker the lap before in the exact same place when he was behind the car was moving up and down, and that just disrupts the balance of your car.
But they want the dirtier air to help to balance.
Yeah. I'll say this. He's following the pattern that we've seen this year. Learn these new tracks early and then pounce in that final stage.
And also for Toyota, it's like you've seen Swalich there at the end of stage 1. The Toyotas looks like they have a little bit better long run speed than short run speed. And then on the flip side of that, the Haas cars, they fell off at the end. So we'll see how the adjustments came for those 2 cars as well.
All right, let's take a look at this real quick. I talked about all that buffing. Look at that roof cam right there bouncing up and down as he's going by Austin Hill to the inside, making a pass.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway coverage continues of the Pennzoil 250. We'll go through the full field running orders. We are just now halfway done in today's race. Ross Chastain out in front with Sheldon Creed in second, Justin Allgaier third, Carson Kvapil fourth, and Sam Mayer rounding out the top 5 in 5th. William Sawalich 6th, Brent Cruz 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Austin Hill 9th, and Jeremy Clements, the stage 1 winner, back in 10th. Sammy Smith in 11th with Corey Day 12th, Jesse Love 13th, Chase Elliott 14th, and 15th is Parker Retzlaff. 16th, Ryan Sieg. Harrison Burton, 17th. Dean Thompson, 18th. Jeff Burton, 19th. And Anthony Alfredo in 20th. 21st, Kyle Sieg. Raja Krug, 22nd. Taylor Gray, 23rd. Nick Sanchez, 24th. 25th, Patrick Starpoli. Mason Maggio, 26th. Blaine Perkins, 27th. Garrett Smithley, 28th. Brandon Poole, 29th. And Josh Balicki in 30th. Ryan Ellis, 31st. Preston Partis, 32nd. LeVar Scott, 33rd. 34th, Joey Gase. Nathan Berg, last car in the lead lap, in 35th. 36, Blake Lothian with David Starr, 37th, and J.J. Yaley off track, 13 laps down and counting in 38th. He's the only driver out of the race so far. So that is your full field running order, almost an hour into the race so far. 5 lead changes, 5 cautions. Russ Chastain's actually led all the green flag laps in stage 2, and he's got about a half a second lead over Creed. 8/10 to Justin Allgaier, our points leader, in third, and Carson Kvapil 1 second back and fourth. Still pretty tight to the race leader, all things considered. Top 4 all Chevys, a Toyota in 5th. And got a couple different teams of those Chevrolets between 3 JRM Chevys and then 1 Haas Chevrolet in 2nd with the JGR Toyota Sawalch in 5th. And honestly, of the speed I've seen, I'd say Sawalch probably the best Toyota on speed so far today. So fitting that he is the one in the top 5. Take a quick break here as we're halfway home. You're listening live on KRC as our coverage continues of the Brickyard Pennzoil 250. Battle for third going into turn 1 this time by Junior Motorsport teammates Carson Kvapil, Justin Allgaier tightly door to door. Allgaier not giving a lot of room to the car on the bottom to try to make the corner. Kvapil drives it in a little bit deeper in turn 2. They get to the X of the corner, they're still going to be side by side down the back straightaway. Kvapil on that left rear corner panel, quick side draft, and pulls away down to the bottom, and we'll see if Allgaier goes down the hill to try to side draft him. He does not. Stays wide so he can arc his corner off into turn 3. Spinner towards the back of the pack off turn 2. Garrett Smithley in the 0 is around. And I believe that has caused our first caution of the race. Yes, caution lights are on. Yellow flag is out with 7 laps to go in the stage. 6 to go now under yellow as they cross the yard of bricks again. So Chastain in the lead under caution. Our first caution for incident comes past halfway through the race. They only had 1 in the truck race at IRP last night. Led into a red flag with a 2-car incident. This one not going to be a red flag. Single car spin. Smithley luckily out of the way, but it looked like he had a tire or 2 flat as he was going to be slow rolling to have to go well more than a mile around the track. Caution flag out because of it. And I think they're going to get a restart in before the end of stage 2. So I don't think we've seen the last of our racing yet. We've still got more to come. Replay between Smithley and Perkins. As they were running nose to tail, Smithley was the trail car. It looked like he just got in too deep into turn 1. He clipped the curbing, and that just set the car around. And as he had locked the brakes up, that's when he flat spotted the right front tire. Good job keeping it off the wall, both inside and out. And he'll be able to get back to the pits. Hopefully he can stay on the lead lap, though, with the flat tire, and he didn't get beached on the back straightaway. So Riley cars sit a little bit higher than the Cup cars. You don't have the roadblocks down on the bottom, so if you have a tire, it's a little easier to roll back. But obviously you have to keep the speed slow to keep from having any damage to the fenders of his race cars. And it looks like the right rear might have been a little bit flat too, because it did warp the right rear corner panel a bit. But for Smithley's case, at least, there isn't a whole lot of damage. They can't pull the fender apart. I think he's still in the lead lap. The leaders are just making their way back around to the front stretch this time. Pit road will be open. And yeah, Smithley is still scoring the lead lap, so if they can get it back out there for the pace car, get back around to him, that'd be good for that team. Pit road's open.
Progressive pit lane, Dylan.
Yeah, can go for it because they're not running for full season points. They maybe forced everybody's hand here by just trying to go for this and keep some track position. Ross reported that he was 2 numbers looser than he was in stage 1. So he went from a 3 loose to a 5 loose. They want to go back on the air pressure adjustment that they made at the end of stage 1. Sheldon Creed said he was better that run. He was also a little bit free, but was building tight on the 0-0, Kim.
And for Carson Quapple, same story as the first run. Pretty good balance. Just same complaints, snug on exit, pushes the nose, then just gets a little bit free. They will take more pressure. Goodyear tires, do a little tape adjustment on the front, as well as fuel.
Race off Progressive Pit Road. Looks like at 19 is going to hold serve. Jumps out in front of Sheldon Creed. Top 4 stay the same.
Side-by-side race off pit road between Chastain and Creed for the top spot. And Ross Chastain does win that race. A little less than half a car length. That's where he was able to beat him out. So going to commercial. A couple of cars stayed out of the pits. Dean Thompson and Raja Caruth staying out. No surprise, Raja Caruth was of those that did stay on the track in the Jordan Anderson Racing number 32 Chevrolet. Taylor Gray back into the pits. Looks like they're assessing damage to the left side of his car after he had made contact on pit road during the first set of pit stops at the end of stage 1. This is our second stop of the day. Going to be tough to make it on fuel to the end of the race from here. I think more likely you can have a better opportunity at making it to the end of the race if you were to pit at the end of the stage. So I'm surprised more cars did not try to stay out for that reason alone. I will also state we're going to have a decent amount of laps left, so the fact that there were only 2 cars that stayed out, they're going to get eaten alive on older tires, because we've seen quite a bit of fall off in this one, about 2 seconds worth in stage 1 that went caution free of 30 laps. That green flag run, if you discount the caution laps during the stage break to when the yellow came out, still about 15 to 20 green flag laps. I don't think these 2 guys at the front are going to be able to hold on here, even though it's tough to pass the leaders at Indy. And with them being the only 2, this is going to be very wild. And who will be the first to jump to the lead to try to have that track position if most of the field stays out of the pits at the end of the stage? It's going to be a couple lap dash. 5 to go on the stage right now. They're not going to be going green this time, so the hope is that they go green with 3 laps to go. If not, I'd expect at least 2 to go. So for the next restart, Dean Thompson will be the leader. Raja Caruth second. Ross Chastain, who won the race off pit road, is in third, with Sheldon Creed fourth and Justin Allgaier now fifth. Carson Quapple 6th, William Sawallic 7th, Brandon Jones 8th, Sam Mayer 9th, Austin Hill rounds out the top 10. Jesse Love up to 11th, and Chase Elliott still slated back in 12th. It's our 6th lead change of the day. Just over an hour in to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Pennzoil 250 for the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Take a quick break as we await the next restart. A lot of pandemonium soon to come. Pre-orders for NASCAR 26 start next week. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, get the pre-order. You can get the game a few days early. Without having to get the bonus edition. One thing in the digital era is there will always be enough copies. So for the pre-order side of things, they usually try to add extra features like that where you can get the game a few days early. All right. Should be getting set for the next restart. Looked like they might have dropped the jack a little too soon on the 19 Taylor Gray as he was in the pits. Brett Cruz, excuse me, in the 19. So Gray had contact on pit road earlier. Brett Cruz, a little bit of a mishap by his team. Both those two drivers with the last two above the chase cut line coming in. Curious to see how many points Carruth gets. He came into the day decent amount of points below the cut line. Every point matters here. Best thing for him is if we catch a quick caution and he doesn't lose many spots in the first lap of the stage, because he's got 3 of them to hold on around this long 2.5-mile oval. Green flag is back in the air. Carruth on the outside of row number 1, and on the inside was actually the restart leader, Dean Thompson, but Carruth has the lead into turn 2. Allgaier, the first car on 4 fresh tires, is up to second already, while it's a stack up from third on back where Thompson's at. Thompson breaking the draft down the back straightaway, 3 wide by a couple rows. And the back half of the top 10, and things are very tight down into turn 3. Brandon Jones on the outside of 3 wide, nearly running out of room. Dangerous situation up there. Car in the middle doesn't have a lot of room either. And almost contact as they exit turn 4, and they're still 3 wide. Chase Elliott, Austin Hill, Brandon Jones are those 3 cars, and then there's another row of 3 wide just a couple car lengths back. And they're still 3 wide down into turn 1. Chase Elliott found himself on the outside lane. He lost a lot of spots down the front stretch. Rajah Carruth with the clean air advantage trying to hold on to the lead. With Justin Allgaier in second. Despite having the old tires, maybe the clean air is king. 4 cars in that lead draft right behind the leader. 3 of them directly behind the leader, 4 total in the pack. Clean and green so far on the restart. They'll be coming in the final lap of stage number 2 this time by. Carruth out in front of Allgaier, Thompson, and the 9 of Ross Chastain. Couple more cars creeping into the picture with Sheldon Creed in 5th, leading a draft of about 4 cars as well. Top 8 within a couple seconds of one another, and they have spaced out from 9th on back. Pass for 3rd in the center of the first 2 turns for Ross Chastain to move up another spot. Getting by Thompson, who is now getting drafted by on the back straightaway by Sheldon Creed in the 00. Last-ditch effort coming up for Justin Allgaier to try to win the stage. Great pit strategy call for the 32 team, driven by Rajah Carruth here today to try to go for this stage win. Couple of unlikely heroes to win the first 2 stages at Indy. Jeremy Clements in stage 1 in the 51 car, family-owned team, and for the Jordan Anderson Racing number 32 team that doesn't run every week. And Rajah Carruth with Jordan Anderson Racing will win stage number 2. Justin Allgaier in second, Ross Chastain third, Sheldon Creed 4th, and Carson Kvapil rounding out the top 5 in 5th, with Dean Thompson 6th, Sam Mayer 7th, William Sawalch 8th, Austin Hill 9th, and Chase Elliott rounding out the top 10. 40-lap final stage upcoming. This is our 3rd yellow of the day. 1 for incident, and that was late in stage 2. 7 lead changes, and Jeremy Clements and Rajah Carruth are stage winners at Indianapolis Motor Speedway today. We'll get maybe another upset in the final stage. We'll see. Fuel window going to be stretched out to the end, maybe even more so with the late caution and a vast majority of cars from the lead lap coming into the pits are in fuel-saving mode right now. $37 votes were casted for who you think will win today's race. Your voting options were between Sheldon Creed, Chase Elliott, and Ross Chastain. If you wanted somebody other than those 3 to win, or I should say maybe thought that somebody other than those 3 would win, You could have voted for other wins the vote poll at 51%. Chase Elliott getting 33% of the votes. Sheldon Creed at 11%. Ross Chastain's had a fast car, second and third place in the first 2 stages, only gets 5% of the votes. Oh, here we go. On to stage 3 at Indy. Obviously, Carruth and Thompson are going to have to come to pit road this time. Cars at the tail end of the lead lap probably going to come in for fuel only. Just to top off, might as well. Jeremy Clements wasn't even in the top 10 in stage 2 after winning stage 1. Lost more time in the pits, I believe, because he is 20th right now. Man, tough break. He had such a fast car. He outright passed the leader, Sheldon Creed, at the time back in stage 1. Creed actually started on pole in this one, so you know he was fast in clean air already once. Maybe didn't have quite the handling on the long run because he not only lost the lead, but lost a few other spots to go with it. Yep, Chastain did win at Charlotte this year. He can still drive a race car, trust me. I know he has not had a great season in the Cup Series, but I think that's just a testament to how poor Trackhouse has been for this year, which makes it even more crazy that SVG's 14th in points with a team that has struggled to run consistently in the top 20 week in and week out. You also add into consideration, I know the guy is a veteran in motorsports in general. He's been driving race cars for a long time. He's not like some 20-year-old second-year driver in the Cup Series that has more racing experience, but not in these cars and not even on ovals. He had no oval racing experience before he jumped way into NASCAR full-time, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series 2 years ago. So he learns tracks for the first time. Then he's got to learn the tracks and the car last year with his rookie season in the Cup Series. And you can see glimpses of him turning the corner by playoff time last year. And now this season, to the fact that he has been as consistent as he is and less road courses on the schedule this year versus last. He's done a phenomenal job. Got a top 5 at North Wilkesboro last week. Led the second most laps, only behind Joey Logano. Man, oh man.
Here's Carla Metz.
Thanks, Adam. Well, Indianapolis Motor Speedway paying tribute to Kyle Busch this weekend. In this series alone, he has 4 wins, 358 laps led, and of course his presence still being felt here this afternoon. The 44 Brennan Poole using his paint scheme this weekend to highlight Kyle Busch and his wife Samantha's Bundle of Joy Foundation that helps in families experiencing infertility. Brennan told me earlier today, he said, this was just special for my whole family. We've helped support this for many years. Says he's just floored to think about the 100 lives the Bushes have helped bring into the world. Samantha Busch was able to see the paint scheme through a video yesterday. She said it brought tears to her eyes. She's, of course, pulling for the 44 this weekend. And if you want to also help support the foundation, we've included the QR code to help make that easily accessible, Adam.
Yeah, thank you. Great report, Carla. You know, each week you go through to prep for these races. And especially in the O'Reilly series, when you do it, you know, you always come across the unbelievable success that Kyle had at all these racetracks. Really neat to see what Brennan Poole and the folks at Alpha Prime are doing this weekend with the paint scheme. Well, I'm glad that we shared the QR code. And, you know, I look at that 44 car and immediately I go back to our last race a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta. I mean,
So close. So close.
it was so fun. I think about what that celebration would have been like. You know?
I was texting my wife. She had just put the kids down or something, and she was like, "Why is people losing their minds over this race?" I was texting her, pulls in the lead. In the next 2 seconds, oh no. Never mind.
It changed that quickly.
Yes.
All right, so you stay out, you get stage points, and then you have to come down and kind of pay your debt here.
Yeah,
Jordan Anderson Racing's Raja Carruth gonna come in, make pit stop. Dean Thompson will do the same down Progressive Pit Road, Dylan.
Yeah, and that depth that you mentioned is what they're going to make sure that they have worked into the race car here for Raja Caruth. Want to make sure they get in the proper balance to be in traffic probably the rest of the day. So they're going to go back on some air pressure changes they made in stage 1 to get him closer to how he started, and also add some tape to the grill. 4 tires and fuel for the 32 Raja's final race this year in this car before he moves to the Junior Motorsports 88 to finish the year again.
Dylan D. Thompson in the 26, the other driver that had stayed out, try and grab stage points. They will take this opportunity to fix the nose just where it's puckered in a little bit. So if you see some bear bond in a second go out, that's what they're working on. Just struggled with overall grip and dirty air, but in the ballpark, he felt like was not happy though with Ross Chastain on that last restart. He said, "Be better if the 9 didn't try to kill me."
Yeah, and you know what I'll say? I know it's not been the year that Sanford Racing would have liked, but a really good effort by them there in stage 2 to get Dean Thompson some stage points. Restart, final stage with Allgaier leading when we come back.
Full screen commercial under caution during the stage 2 break at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, down to less than 40 laps to go in the Brickyard 400's preliminary race, the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series 250, Pennzoil 250 specifically. Keep on the lookout for Carson Kvapil in that one car. He's going to be restarting in the front couple rows. He actually ran his fastest lap of the race on that last restart right before the end of stage 2 at lap 59. Everybody else up inside the top 10, minus Thompson, who had clean air for the first time, and Brandon Jones ran their fastest laps of the race in that very first green flag run. And for Jones, his fastest lap was actually at the beginning of stage 2, so it wasn't even that last restart. So Kvapil, in a little bit of traffic, putting together his fastest lap. Fastest lap of the race overall still belongs to Justin Allgaier, who's going to be the leader on the restart. First time Allgaier has led today after Ross Chastain had led the majority of the laps back in stage 2. Led all the green flag laps up until that last restart of 3 laps. And I believe Chastain has actually led more laps than anybody so far. No, actually, Sheldon Creed still has the most laps led with 23. 19 for Chastain, now 2 for Allgaier under the caution. 1 for Kvapil. Williams Sawalich has led for 2 laps. And 9 for Jeremy Clements at the end of stage 1. 6 for Raja Caruth also with winning stage 2. Problem now for Caruth and Thompson. Not that many cars just hit pit road, so they're going to be at the very tail end of the pack. We'll watch out for them. Decent ways to go here, about a full fuel run at Indy. Doesn't matter what motorsports, what series it is, you want to win at the Brickyard. It's famed speedway, more than 100 years old. A lot of history and a lot of racing's greats around the world have won at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Allgaier, a guy who's done it before already, trying to do it again. Likes of Sheldon Creed, trying to do it for the first time in this series. Ross Chastain is number 1 at Indy, and despite being a Cup regular, would still like to win at the Speedway here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Carson Kvapil looking for his first career win. What a great place to have that than here today. He has been fast, as mentioned moments ago, having his fastest lap of the race very recently.
Carl O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, Saturday, August 8th, qualifying at 12:30 Eastern. Later, racing action at 4:30 Eastern on the CW. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. And by KFC. It's finger licking good. Back at Indy, and now we get this replay brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Gonna look at the 19 of Brent Cruz. Started yesterday in practice.
A little bit of contact there with the wall. He was actually the fastest car in practice, but just where it started, had some contact with his teammate, and then later on pit road, they had the car jacked up, and it's like he tried to go before the car was let down and come back in, tape some crush panels up, but had plenty of adversity at him, but still got time.
Hey, and he's 19th, so there's plenty of ground,
Time.
for him to go get some here late in this race if the car's where it needs to be. He's right now +1 above the cut line in front of his teammate William Sawalich, who's had a good day, going to restart at least prior to the choose as 6th, driver 18. Allgaier leading this thing, goes outside lane.
Well, he did the same thing last year.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember it got him in trouble because Larson restarted on his
Lit
inside,
up the racetrack.
got loose
Wait,
underneath
who was
him.
it?
Larson.
Well, I think about that. You know, you got a cup guy you're racing with. I mean, the foreshadowing of that is quite interesting.
Yeah, and when we get down to this, everybody gets more aggressive. The outside lane doesn't give the inside lane as much room, and those cars will get loose. Turn 2's tough on these restarts. You hope you can have them cleared by the time you get there.
What about that number 9 car on the restart, Dylan?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly kind of talk about fuel strategy here because it is the name of the game here in this final stage. They feel like they're actually going to be okay. I would imagine, Ross is a Cup driver. He knows probably inherently to just save fuel whenever and however he can, no matter how close you are. But Philip Bell, the crew chief, came on the radio and told him that we should be good. We're not going to make another stop. We know that for sure. But they felt like they could make it. There's a couple other Hendrick-powered cars that feel like they're in a similar boat, maybe a lap or 2 short. There's some other teams with some other organizations that feel like they're maybe closer to 3 laps short. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys work the draft, if there's anything they can do just to give themselves a little bit of a buffer. Another yellow, though, would go a long way for several of these cars up front.
There is 0% chance you're saving 3 laps of fuel here with this rules package. They're almost wide open all the way around the racetrack. You could save 3 laps, but you're going to have to run 6 seconds a lap off the pace to do that. You might save 1, but I think it's going to be more challenging here than anywhere else. It's like trying to save fuel at Daytona or Talladega.
I mean, my team a shout out. When we go to Daytona and Talladega, they're usually like, hey, save us fuel, but maintain track position. Okay.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Check
What do you want?
every box.
It makes no sense.
Say we're above the action with GovX aerial coverage. GovX savings for those who serve. As we get ready for the restart, it'll be JRM 1, 2, 3. They've won 13 times this year with 5 different drivers and 4 different cars. And the man that's in control from the outside lane, Justin Allgaier's won 6 times in 2026. And he also won right here in Indianapolis 2018, the only driver in the field that's won here in the past.
Sheldon Creed, who's going to line up behind Allgaier, I think one of the best pushers in the entire series. I'd love to have him behind me if I'm leading this.
Carson Quappen on the 1. Looking for his first career victory. Final stage underway at Indy.
Sam Mayer here going bottom 3 wide.
That's going to stall that inside lane out.
Wow, that was a gutsy move by Mayer.
Good. Poor William Sawalich gets the raw into the deal. Going to be on the outside now, turn 2 as well. Can he get down in front of Brandon Jones? He does.
Side by side for the lead off of 2. Allgaier can't get away. Mixing it up for 3rd. How good is this coming down the back straightaway to turn 3?
Look at the run that Juan has here. He's just defending.
Being on the outside of turn 3. Outside of turn 2, you can have that momentum, but it's so fast on the entry to 3, being able to commit to that. See now his other teammate, Carson Quappen, is going to get to his inside. Sam Mayer was really aggressive on that restart. Look how much it's paid off for him. And now he's going to make it 3 wide again inside of Quappen.
Chastain perfectly 3 wide for 2nd. Look at Mayer dicing down there.
And those angles are so bad from the spotters. You have to do the. Oh, we got tight right here. Contact.
Oh, yeah.
Outside track.
He goes to start setting here.
Went out of that. Now Allgaier covered one. Back there on that left rear quarter of the 41 of Mayer. Now Mayer's teammate Creed's going to help push him by.
Look, us race car drivers in this moment, it's like, come on, man. Putting us 3 wide. And so Allgaier's like, I'm just for you.
How about this? Austin Hill, right there, part of the equation. Riding with William Sawalich, who's trying to find his spot above that chase line. He has a fast car. He came out from the short end of the deal in that restart, getting put 3 wide because he was in the outside lane, but done a great job here fighting back. Now has his teammate Brandon Jones behind him, trying to push him through. Chase Elliott, welcome to the party. He's right in this mix.
Yeah, Chase Elliott all the way up to 7th right here. So right on board with the GovX on board. Sam Mayer, one of the more aggressive drivers. We're looking at the back of that car. It looks so calm, but I can assure you inside of those guys.
Look at the side draft.
Little side draft there from the 88. Well, the 18 gets up behind him. Now Corey Day.
He's trying everything.
Body up.
Anthony Alfredo is right there in the 96. Give a call to Jeff Burton inside the top 15 today. Driving that 27.
Get a look here. He wanted Mayer and Wobble, a little bit of contact. Everybody trying to get their entries opened up to have the angles that they want.
What's Dale think of this?
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Well, you mentioned Jeff Burton. He had a great qualifying effort earlier. So back in the mix right here.
I saw him last night. He was out with sponsors. He told me, I think we're going to be good tomorrow. And look who's fighting their way to the front after the restart. Brett Cruz, 19. He talked about all of their problems today. There's so much on the line, and this 18-year-old's fighting hard with Parker Retzlaff.
Yeah, Parker in a good position right here, but it looks to me like the draft is on the outside. You see Ryan Sieg pushing the 19 through. 19's going to be in a great position now.
What I've realized from this race, like, you're going to go through some adversity, but as long as you can just erase that moment and still focus on the task ahead, like, your chances of rebounding are significantly higher.
Hey, time to go full throttle with Sound Gear. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to learn more at soundgear.com. Turn it up.
We'll crank it up, action. 30 laps to go.
Laps to go in the Riley Auto Parts Series. Ross Chastain leading. Waffle 3, Allgaier Hill the top. We're live on CW.
Full screen commercial break here. We'll go through the full field running order. Ross Chastain leads Carson Kvapil by about 0.8 of a second. 1.7 seconds to third place Sheldon Creed. Fourth is Justin Allgaier, and Austin Hill rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Sam Mayer holds 6th, Chase Elliott 7th, Corey Day 8th, William Sawalich 9th, and 10th is Brandon Jones. Anthony Alfredo in 11th, Taylor Gray 12th, Brent Cruz 13th, 14th Ryan Sieg, and Parker Retzlaff in 15th. 16th Jeff Burton with Jesse Love 17th, Harrison Burton 18th, Nick Sanchez 19th, and Jeremy Clements in 20th. 21st, Sammy Smith with Kyle Sieg 22nd, LeVar Scott 23rd, Josh Balicki 24th, and 25th place Mason Maggio. Dean Thompson in 26th, 27th, Raja Karuth, Patrick Starpoli 28th, Blaine Perkins 29th, and Brendan Poole 30th. 31st, Garrett Smithley after a spin in stage 2, Nathan Bird 32nd, Ryan Ellis 33rd, Preston Partis 34th, David Starr 35th, Blake Lothian 36th, and Joey Gase 37th. All cars on track of 37 are on the lead lap, and then J.J. Yaley 38th, only car off the track and out of the race, had a mechanical issue earlier on. So Chastain, again, your race leader. Kvapil trimming that gap just a little bit the last time by. 26 laps to go in the race at the start-finish line this go-around. You're listening live on KRC as our full flag-to-flag coverage of the race continues. Deep voice on the CW broadcast. That's Bubba Wallace. Parker Kligerman's not in the booth this week. It's Adam Alexander, Jamie McMurray, and Bubba Wallace, the guest commentator. Of course, winning the Brickyard 400 last season. I think Denny Hamlin in the booth last week. last race. O'Reilly Auto Parts Series was off last week, but last race at Chicagoland, Denny Hamlin was in the booth for that one. A rotating kind of like guest booth of drivers over the last several races. A lot of the summer stretch specifically. Only half a second back now for Quapple. He's been about a tenth faster than Chastain 3 laps in a row. Sheldon Creed made a pass for third on Justin Allgaier that last time by, as well as Justin Allgaier was slipping back from the top two for several laps. Creed was tired of sitting behind, losing that time, finally was able to mount a run off turn 2 to pass him down the back straightaway. Breaking the draft and pulling Allgaier a little bit more. We'll see if Creed's got anything for the top 2 spots after leading a lot early on from the pole. Has not been back in the lead since losing the lead late in stage 1 to Jeremy Clements. We haven't seen Clements much in this one since very early in the race as well, as he's still outside the top 10 and 20th. It's been stagnant ever since that restart towards the end of stage 2. Not been able to break back up into the top 15. It's kind of crazy between him and then Carruth staying out of the pits to get the stage points and win stage number 2. Our stage winners are 20th and 25th in this race. Waffle still closing, this time by on the front stretch behind Chastain. Wonder how long he's maybe going to wait to try to make a run into turn 1. About a half a car length of a gap between the 9 and the 1 that time entering the corner. Clean air advantage, obviously a little bit better turn for the driver of the number 9. We'll see if Quapple can back the car up enough through turn 2 and get a run down the back straightaway, but I believe he lost a little bit too much time to try to make up all at once. A little bit further off of Chastain's back bumper into 3 than what he was in turn 1. Chastain tries to keep his car holding steady. Back the double zero of Sheldon Creed. Like for a couple laps was running faster lap times than the leaders, but the last 2 times by he was slower than Chastain. Got these 2 cars at the front of the field, tightly nose to tail. Bigger space, and then that tight gap between 3rd and 4th. Another space. Tight gap between 5th and 6th. 2 car clunks clustered together at the front of the field. Quapple, a little bit of a bluff, making a move to the inside this time. Back in the corner entry up now for turn 3. And he was able to stay lower to the bottom of the racetrack up the exit of turn 3. See if the same thing happens in turn 4. He's definitely closer to Chastain on the front stretch this time than he had been the last couple laps. And he's going to mount a charge down towards turn 1. Quapple is right there on Ross Chastain. Can't quite get to the left rear corner panel on entry into turn 1, though. We know Chastain's going to drive the wheels off this thing, and it is not going to be easy for Quapple to get to the inside. Still 22 laps to go, though. He's got a lot of time to get this done. He's getting closer and closer and closer. And honestly, if he can just get close enough to the back bumper and maybe get Chastain a little aero loose by taking the air off the rear spoiler of his race car, it is definitely more doable in these O'Reilly cars than what you would see in the Cup Series. Just has to get close to him. Allgaier trying to take back 3rd from Creed. They're losing a little bit of time. You almost wonder maybe some fuel strategies going on right now, some saving, because we don't know if these drivers can make it to the end. Especially with that late caution in stage 2, forcing a lot of these guys to come to pit road early. And now we got to move for the lead off turn 2. Carson Quapple on Ross Chastain, and he'll be clear. Middle of the back straightaway, Chastain tried to chase the one car down the track to side draft the right rear corner panel, but Quapple had too much speed and was able to bypass him. Arc the corner off, and now we'll see if Quapple can pull away, or is Chastain in the draft going to be able to hang in there? Carson Quapple has never won in a NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. This is his second full-time season in the series. He's been driving 3 different cars this year, 2 different numbers at JRM, but has had a consistent enough season that he is still 5th in points. Coming into the race, a win could actually get him up inside the top 3 in the standings. With how poor Jesse Love's been running today, no stage points in Stage 1 or Stage 2 for Love, and 15th right now, maybe Quapple could jump from 5th to 2nd in the standings. And Allgaier's locked into the regular season championship as he clinched that in the last race a couple of weeks ago. Second place is wide open. And Quapple, I believe, going to be at Junior Motorsports for all of the chase races. So that's going to be big for him. Especially if he can break through and get that first win here today, get the monkey off his back, and go race for a championship. Pardon me if I'm incorrect, but I believe Quapple had actually made the championship 4 last year in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, despite not having to win in his career. So consistency has been key for that driver. Pretty good job at keeping the car clean. A lot less DNFs this season than what he had last as well. First half of the year was getting caught up in a lot of incidents. This year, only 3 DNFs for Quapple. 6 top 5s, so 12 top 10s. 99 laps led on the season for the driver of the number 1. And again, out in front late. Drove the Arby's car in the spring. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm actually going to be eating Arby's for dinner tonight. So every time I see the ad, I just get hungrier. Seen it up on CW's broadcast a couple times already. Get me a roast beef and cheddar. That's what I'm looking forward to as soon as the stream's done. Chastain trying to hang in there. He's a half a second off the lead. I've noticed with that battle for 3rd increasing as Creed and Allgaier have gone back and forth a couple times. They've lost even more time to Quapple since he's taken the lead. Chastain's holding in there, but I just think Quapple's got the better race car, so him making that pass a little earlier. Maybe in the draft he could save a little bit more gas, perhaps than Quapple and losing the lead, but despite the racing that we have seen here in the final stage, it might all be for naught if this turns into a fuel mileage race. This is going to be way more wide open than it looks between Quapple and Chastain right now. And if we get a yellow, does that bring everybody onto pit road with the tire wear situation that we've seen? But we saw in about 20 lap older tires, Chastain still won stage, or not Chastain, but Roger Cruz still won stage 2. At that time on a 3-lap dash. For today, William Sawalich getting by Sam Mayer on the front stretch. Dropping Mayer back to 9th. Also a pass for 5th as Chase Elliott gets by Austin Hill. And this is the highest Chase Elliott's been in the running order all day after starting at the rear of the field. And he just put his fastest lap of the race on lap 70 early in stage 3. So 88 Cars made a lot of passes, has had a fast car all day long. We just haven't seen it up at the front like some of these others that are there now. Ford Junior Motorsports Chevy's up inside the top 5. We're going to take our final break of the stream. You're listening live on KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage continues. $16 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. We'll listen into the broadcast a little bit because I am curious some of the radio communications on what the fuel situation is looking like. Because again, we know it's close. We haven't really had a traditional fuel mileage race across all 3 series so far this season. So this may be the first we've seen fuel mileage races at Indianapolis across both the O'Reilly and Cup Series before. This does lead to a strategy-based track, and timing of that last incident that we saw back in Stage 2 really creating this window for this to happen. We know the two best drivers on fuel are going to be Dean Thompson and Raja Caruth, who had pitted during the last caution after staying out to get points in Stage 2, versus all of those that stayed out. And there were a couple other cars at the tail end of the lead lap that also pitted during the caution because they weren't going to lose many spots to top off as well there. So some drivers in a better spot than others. 15 laps to go this time by at the start-finish line. Chastain holding within 0.4 of a second still of Quapple.
To the left. Count that guy out right there. 6 times he's won this year. Definitely can get it done again today.
Saying what? A lot? Scan the QR code to take a short free online hearing test. Now let's listen in to Starkey Radio Communications.
Going away from field and now he's just there. I get very well run. And Reynolds 7. Reynolds. One ran at 17. Every lap. Better. Game on.
Well, the confidence.
And behind, he substituted for us out in Sonoma, so it's just funny. It's the way he talks, the way he navigates, as a driver, just rough racetrack. But yeah, you can never count out the 7 when the pay window opens. That's who fills up the most.
And Adam, you said this as we went to break. You look at the bottom left of your screen, 15 laps. That's almost 15 minutes. It's not Bristol where it knocked you, or Martinsville where these go away so quick. It's a while, so the 7 has a legitimate shot of being able to catch them.
Sam Mayer second in this race last year, starting to drift late. That's Corey Day in the 17.
Corey Day back in the air on the left rear, making it extremely tough. Watch the hands here of Sam Mayer. Oh, God. Loose.
You hear the car backfire, and he was out of gas so long.
Yep.
Saw that momentum now.
Luckily, it was only 2 spots for him. He can wind it back up here and try to make a charge again.
Sam Mayer only 36 points above the cut line right now. You know, he's great at Iowa, but with Daytona looming to end the regular season, just the wild cards, the question marks when it comes to who's going to qualify for the chase. And there's been a lot of drama for those bubble guys today. But, I mean, the separation is not great. 22 separated, 11th to 14th coming in, and you can see how snug it is right now.
Yeah, man, those guys that are floating around that bubble.
Well, this lap car, yeah, that's a claim.
It's David Starr.
Oh, it was the same lap car from earlier that loaded up Sheldon Creed.
Got a free pass, got back on the lead lap, going a lap down here.
He taught him at an okay spot to not allow the one car get that big of a run here. So it kind of jeopardizes entry for turn 3 for Ross there. So hopefully Carson can capitalize on that and pull back away.
And Allgaier's the other one that will now have that lap car. See, I think his timing's
It's silly.
I don't know. Maybe a little draft here. We'll see him at the lap times next time by. Almost leveled out with the 1 and the 7. Oh no, that cost Carson Quapple almost 3/10 that lap to 7. So Allgaier is at the rate he's going. He's going to get there with about 3 or 4 laps to go. We're going to have a race.
And with 12 remaining, look who's in 4th in the bunker there, Chase Elliott. So Junior Motorsports, wow, 3, 4 in the running order here at Indy.
I take back what I said earlier, okay? Where was JRM?
That's right, yeah.
They're there now.
They've answered the bell. They always do. Hey, a top 10 for that organization today would be their 79th straight race, putting a car inside the top 10. That would match RFK for the best all time. The organization has just been red hot in recent years.
It's awesome to see just the passion from Dale and Kelly and what they've been able to do with JRM over the last handful of years. I remember running against them in the O'Reilly series, and you're for always the cars that you wanted to be. and it was always fun. But to see them now to take that next step and just be dominant each and every weekend. And man, Big Box there somehow wearing a hoodie in July, and it's super.
What about it, Kim?
Yeah, the focus has been very quiet on the radio. What I have been hearing is spotter TJ Majors as well as crew chief Rodney Childers just giving him updates. Here's what they most recently told him. Let's get some in-car audio courtesy of Starkey for the one car.
I see a turn one. That's the bigger thing. Every time we take up May Rock, the road.
So you heard them mention turn one, and I actually had a conversation with Carson earlier today. He talked about how good the car was, how he likes this racetrack, but if there's one thing he felt like he needed to work on, it was turn one. He said it's the biggest challenge. Is this an odd corner? He described it as, he said the entry and the exit are just both uncomfortable for me in different ways.
And as we look at Rodney Childers at him, I have to think he's seeing the same thing we are. And you could cue the Jaws music at any moment here, because the 7 car continues to knock a tenth a lap out, and he's going to get a little draft now from the 9 car. We got another lap car playing into this. It is far from over for Carson Waffle.
It is shaping up to be an interesting race between these three. But yes, it's like the 9 car is falling back, allowing the tow method here, the 7. So you should see a little bit of an increase in lap time here to mount a late charge here. It's going to be exciting.
Look at those lap times on the left of your screen. Yeah. You see, 3/10 lap 88. You see a 10th lap 89, another 10th, and it's going to continue to get magnified for the 7 because he gets that little bit of a draft. How quick he can get by Ross Chastain will be the determining factor if Allgaier can go up and race for the win.
Well, just denying Ross Chastain defending here.
I was going to mention
when
that,
you're battling for second instead of the race lead.
And now, I joked about Ross being the best blocker in the game, right? Drivers also know, it's not really my day. This car is faster. Okay. But when it's the heat of the moment, you're battling for the lead, you're going to make that guy work hard.
He's going to make you work for it. Because if the caution comes out, he wants to restart on the front row. He's not going to want to restart in a different position. I think he's going to race him hard here.
Coming to 8 laps to go. I see that one out front. We talk about Rodney Childers. And I think about the success he had here in the Brickyard 400 with Kevin Harvick winning it 19-20.
They were so fast.
Trying to sprinkle a little more magic dust on a car here.
Rodney's hoping the 9 can hold him up a little bit. We'll see what kind of run can Allgaier get just a little bit inside here of the 9. He's so much faster right now. Oh, yeah. He's going to have the run right here. Watch. Got the momentum. 9 will not. Oh, he can't. Oh, he lost a little bit. Wow. It looked to me like he had to.
Thought he had the run. It was just enough to where when he pulled out, he stalled himself. And so now he has to regroup. That's a lot of time loss right there. So I imagine here, if he can get a good run off of turn 4 here and set himself up to here, because he's at the point where he can waste no time. We're down to 8 laps to go. 7 coming by this next time. He's got to air here, get the 9 out of the way, and march forward.
A little bit of a toe here down into turn 1. It just looked to me like he was way better through turns than what the 9 was. But the 9 down the pipes right there. Yeah, lifted.
Here comes Allgaier for second.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
He did not.
It's over, yeah.
Here we go.
What did you say about the Jaws music? He makes the pass. He's the second back. We'll see what Allgaier can do from here.
Made the pass and ran faster than the leader did all in the same time, so it actually didn't hold him up, guys.
Allgaier really gets it done late, Dylan.
And Andrew Overstreet, the crew chief, emphasized exactly what you guys are talking about. He said, let's not lose too much time racing the 9 car. So they got past him pretty quickly. That's the gap to make up to the 1 car. They feel like they are the best, though. The 7 does right here at the exit of turn number 4. That's part of why the lap times have been so good. He gets off that corner so well, then has this long front straightaway to use the draft and try and close in on the cars he's trying to pass. So we'll see if he's got enough time. 5 to go next time by.
Tough break for Jeremy Clements on pit road for a lengthy period of time. Unscheduled pit stop for that team. We'll go through the full field running order with just less than 6 laps to go. Carson Kvapil leads with Justin Allgaier in second. Ross Chastain third. Chase Elliott in race high 4th place position. Sheldon Creed 5th. William Sawalich in 6th. 7th is Corey Day. Brent Cruz 8th. Austin Hill 9th. And Brandon Jones rounds out the top 10. Sam Mayer in 11th. Parker Retzlaff 12th. Taylor Gray 13th. Jeff Burke 14th. And Anthony Alfredo 15th. 16th is Jesse Love. Harrison Burton 17th. Ryan Sieg 18th. Sammy Smith 19th. And Nick Sanchez is 20th. 21st, Raja Karuth with Dean Thompson 22nd. Kyle Sieg 23rd. Patrick Starpoli 24th. And Garrett Smithley 25th. 26, Mason Maggio, LeVar Scott 27th, Blaine Perkins 28th, Brendan Poole 29th, and Preston Pardison 30th. Nathan Bird 31st, Ryan Ellis 32nd, Josh Malicki last car in the lead lap in 33rd. 34th, first car lap down, Blake Lothian 35th, David Starr, Joey Gase 36th, and Jeremy Clements unfortunately a couple laps down now 37th, so he's been on pit road for a bit. JJ Yaley off track and out of the race 38th. That rounds out the field. 4 laps to go this next time by at the start-finish line. The leaders are just working their way into turn 3 right now with the race leader, Carson Kvapil, looking for his first career win in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. We've already seen several drivers win their first race in this series this season, the likes of Corey Day now with a couple wins, Sheldon Creed at Atlanta, William Sawalich back at Rockingham, and now could it be Carson Kvapil's day here today in the number 1 for Junior Motorsports. So 4 laps to go. The last time by the line, the deficit was 0.7 of a second for Justin Allgaier. There are 2 lap cars that seem like they will play into effect that Kvapil is for certain going to catch. It can help him down the straightaways where he can get a little bit extra draft and maybe stay ahead of Allgaier a bit more. Because if Allgaier gets to within a couple car lengths, that draft effect is going to be huge, and it's going to be very difficult to defend down these long straightaways if you're Kvapil, especially when you got a veteran of all drivers behind you on the chase, and Justin Allgaier, a guy who's just been red hot this season. Kvapil getting up behind a couple of those lap cars. The 2 that were in front of him have broken up a little bit. He's going to make a clean pass at turn 4 on one of those cars. Allgaier now trailing, getting a little bit of draft off the lapper, but Kvapil catching the lap car of Ryan Ellis in front of him as well. Allgaier having to hop out of line to get to the inside of the 07. Kind of a flatter entry into turn 1. I do believe Kvapil definitely made a better pass on the first lap car than Allgaier did. Through turn 1, gets by the 02 of Ryan Ellis. And Justin Allgaier in the 7, kind of the same thing on the front stretch. Just not going to catch Ryan Ellis in as good of a spot as Carson Kvapil did. So great job by the second-year driver in the series, Carson Kvapil, to get by the lap cars when he did. Widens the gap out maybe just a bit. Buys him a bit more time with just 2 laps to go this time by at the Art of Bricks. 5 miles left at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Fuel could still be a little bit tight for these drivers. So somebody's slow and starts sputtering. It would not be surprising down the stretch. 5 miles is a long way for 2 laps around this racetrack. Allgaier was just over half a second back at the start-finish line that last time by. Big closing rate through turn 1, though, for Justin Allgaier. Now has to master the exit of turn 2 so he can utilize the straightaway speed down the back. 2 of the longest straightaways in NASCAR, and there's 2 of them here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Kvapil trying to break that set draft down the backstretch. Snake accordion line. Allgaier continues to chunk. The deficit probably 3 car lengths into turn 3. Through the chute between 3 and 4 and headed to turn 4 for the second to last time as he'll be coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Pennzoil 250. The battle is between 2 Junior Motorsport teammates, Carson Kvapil and Justin Allgaier. Allgaier now 2 car lengths off the lead into turn 1. If he can get to the rear spoiler and maybe get the 1 car a bit loose in turns 3 and 4, that could be a great opportunity to make the pass for the win. Off turn 2, great job by Kvapil, keeping his car steady. Allgaier trying to win the race back to the gas, got very close to the wall. Kvapil doing fantastic, breaking the draft down the back straightaway. There's 1 more lap car in front of the leaders. Probably not going to catch them, though, by the time they get to the start-finish line. Through turn 3. Allgaier close to the wall again. It looked like he might have had to lift to keep it off the fence from the exit of turn 3. Kvapil gaps him into 4. And the checkered flag is going to be waving for Carson Kvapil as he gets his first career NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series victory over the 7 of Justin Allgaier down the stretch. With Rodney Childress in the pit box as crew chief, Carson Kvapil is guided to his first career victory. And it comes at the famed Brickyard. Margin of victory, 0.6 of a second, 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 20 seconds total time on today's race. 3 cautions, 10 lead changes, and 13 caution laps. Only 1 yellow for incident late in stage 2. Both the truck and O'Reilly races only had 1 caution for incident so far this weekend. It's been a clean and green weekend. We'll see what the Brickyard 400 has to offer tomorrow. Finish under the regulation length of 100 laps, 250 miles. And your finishing results will look like this, with Carson Kvapil getting the win, Justin Allgaier second in company, Ross Chastain third, Chase Elliott fourth, a 1-2-3-4 finish for Junior Motorsports. William Sawalich in fifth, with Brent Cruz his teammate in sixth for Joe Gibbs Racing. Corey Day seventh, Sheldon Creed eighth, Brandon Jones ninth, and Austin Hill finishes out the top 10. Parker Retzlaff at 11, Taylor Gray 12th, Sam Ayer 13th, Anthony Alfredo 14th, and 15th for Jeff Burton. Jesse Love 16th, Ryan Sieg 17th, Harrison Burton 18th, 19th for Sammy Smith and Nick Sanchez in 20th. Dean Thompson in 21st, Raja Krut stage 2 winner in 22nd, Patrick Starpoli 23rd, Cal Sieg 24th, and Garrett Smithley 25th. Mason Maggio 26th, LeVar Scott 27th, 28th, Blaine Perkins, 29th, Brendan Poole, 30th, Preston Pardis, last car in the lead lap, Nathan Bird in 31st. Ryan Ellis finishing 32nd, first car lap down, Josh Balicki 33rd, Blake Lothian 34th, 35th, David Starr, 36th place finish for Joey Gase. Jeremy Clements 3 laps down there late, did finish, but again 3 laps down in 37th after winning stage 1. And J.J. Yaley finishes out the field of 38 cars last, only driver to not finish today's race. Polish victory lap down the front stretch, and it looks like pretty much all the way around the Brickyard for Carson Kvapil. Good young talent at Junior Motorsports. Nearly got his first career win in part-time efforts back in 2024 in the select handful of starts he had with JRM. A couple of runner-ups in there. A great run at Dover where he led a ton of laps. And lost a heartbreaker. Oddly enough, to the guy he beat that day, Justin Allgaier. Or beat him, I should say, that day. Of Justin Allgaier. I think he had a decent amount of fuel left in the car because it looks like he's going to be able to do a full Polish victory lap. Maybe a lot of these teams were bluffing down the stretch as to how close they were going to be on fuel to the end. Here's Dale Jr.
Oh, man. This has been a long time coming. He's like a son almost. You know, you work with these guys for so long. And you work so hard. We work so hard with Josh Berry and all our drivers. And you just want them to have success. And he's got to win to keep going. You got to win if you want to stay in this deal. And, man, he got so close. So I'm just so happy for him, for Travis, his dad.
Go enjoy this. Congrats.
I will. Thank you.
I don't think some IndyCar fans are going to be happy out there. He did a burnout over the yard place. That's a sacrilegious thing to do in the motorsports world. I don't know if that was intentional or not for Kvapil. I think he was just trying to do a burnout next to Dale Jr. Perhaps his owner, who was standing not that far behind with that interview that you heard from Dylan Welch. And you're going to get an interview with race winner Carson Kvapil as well here shortly.
Dale's late model. So the family is very connected to Junior Motorsports and Dale Jr. And listen, Adam, we know Dale really well, right? Like we fly with him every week. His passion, he's the biggest race fan that I know. He loves what he's doing. I'm so happy to see him having the success that he's having.
There it is, the moment he's been waiting for. Carson, finally, a winner in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Wait our way through here. Carson, man, came close a lot of times. You finally get it done in Indianapolis. The boys are going to go climb the fence here. What does this moment mean to you to do this here?
Oh, it means the world to me. Man, I don't know. It's very emotional. I rode around on that lap backwards and just sat there and thought about all the hard work I put in, me and my dad, Travis, to get to this point, and the faith that Dale Jr., L.W. Miller, and Kelly Miller put behind me to give me this opportunity and give me a second chance, I guess you could say, to come back at it this year. So this group of one guys with on this wild chip star is amazing, and I knew we were going to get one, and I'm hoping we can chase some more towards the end. I just can't believe it. It's been a lot of races and a lot of hours to work and to build towards this.
Dale, we just talked to him. He got emotional talking about how proud he was of you to finally check this off the list. The two of you's relationship, how special is it for you to do this for him?
It's awesome. I mean, I remember last year, this was the 100 win for Junior Motorsports, and I wanted to get my first win really bad, but I really wanted to get the 100th win for JRM here. And just glad we could come back here with Rodney Childers and this whole Wild Potato Chips, Bass Pro Shops, Clarence Technologies Chevrolet, and bring a really fast car. I knew from lap 1 of practice that the thing was a rocket ship, and I just knew we had to do all the right things and make the right adjustments, and I just couldn't make any mistakes.
Can you take a deep breath and exhale a little bit now?
I don't know. This is going to be an exciting one for a long time, and I'll be able to go into the off weekend thinking about this. So just going to try not to cry too much. I've already shed a few tears. Just trying to hold it together right now.
Hey, man, you've earned it. Congratulations. Carson Kvapil, finally a winner for the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
Fourth first-time winner in the series so far this season, and maybe we haven't seen the last quite yet. Congratulations to Carson Kvapil, the youngster winning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today. And congratulations earlier this afternoon for Carson Hocevar qualifying on the pole for the Brickyard 400, another youngster in a different series. He'll be leading the field to the green tomorrow. And we will be seeing that stream live, that race together live on stream tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So again, 1:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow will be live, Brickyard 400 pre-race coverage followed by the race itself. Hope to see you for that one. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your Saturday night, everybody. Catch you tomorrow afternoon.